This is the Microschool Minute, your weekly dose of microschooling news and events.
In this week's edition of the Microschool Minute, good news from Capitol Hill. A bipartisan team of senators has reintroduced the Enable Act, a groundbreaking bill aimed at helping individuals with disabilities achieve greater financial independence. This legislation ensures that people with disabilities can continue to save for their futures through tax-free ABLE accounts, all without losing access to critical programs like supplemental security incomes. Public schools are in the spotlight this week, and not for the right reasons. At a recent House hearing, lawmakers and education experts tackled a tough truth: that we don't have a revenue problem, we have a spending problem. Despite a dramatic increase in school funding and staffing since 1950, school performance continues to fall. Case in point, only 1/3 of 8th graders are reading at grade level. Dr. Lindsay Burke from the Heritage Foundation didn't mince words when she said, "It's time to charter a new course." But what course should that be? Some argue for better allocation of funds rather than pouring more money into the system. Others fear that changes like shifting funds to state-controlled block grants could hurt low-income students most. Enter Microschools, a model that's rewriting the education rulebook. By eliminating bloated bureaucracies, Microschools direct resources exactly where they're needed: the students. As discussions over public education's future heat up, Microschools offer a streamlined solution to the very inefficiencies highlighted in this hearing. Governor Brad Little has long been celebrated as a champion of education in Idaho, but now his legacy is being tested by one of the most polarizing education decisions of his career, House Bill 93. This proposed legislation aims to redirect $50 million in public funds to non-public schools, including alternative models like microschools and learning pods. According to data obtained through a Freedom of Information Act request, an overwhelming 94% of Idahoans who provided input opposed the bill. Governor Little is now at a crossroads, and your voice matters. Decisions like these surrounding House Bill 93 will shape the future of education in Idaho, and your input can make all the difference. Florida Senator Corey Simon is shaking up education with his new legislation, Senate Bill 1094. This bill is designed to equip students with the tools that they need to succeed, not just in school, but in life. And if you're part of the growing microschool movement, this is even better news for you. Florida high schools will now require annual career fairs, giving students the chance to meet employers offering apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeships. Think of it as a head start into the workforce, where students can explore real-world opportunities before graduation. The bill ensures that apprenticeship programs translate into post-secondary credits and career hours. That means new, flexible pathways to earning a degree or certificate for students pursuing non-traditional options. For microschools, this is the perfect match. These small, adaptive learning environments already thrive on personalization, and this bill only strengthens their ability to help students explore careers, build skills, and transition seamlessly into their futures. After weeks of heated debates, Wyoming lawmakers reached a crucial compromise on the Wyoming Freedom Scholarship Act. The big news: income-qualified families will now have access to funding for pre-K education, marking a significant shift in the state's approach to early childhood learning. Families earning up to 250% of the federal poverty level can now apply for up to $7,000 per child to cover pre-K cost. This decision was one of the bill's most contentious elements, with the Senate strongly advocating for early education funding, while some House members pushed back, labeling it as unnecessary government overreach. With access to this funding, more income-qualified families can now explore microschools as a viable option for their youngest learners, one that prepares children for kindergarten while giving parents more choice in how and where their kids learn. What if public funds could follow students wherever they go, even to private religious schools that operate outside of the state's charter system? That's the big question behind Ohio Senate Bill 68. This proposed legislation aims to create educational savings accounts for families whose children attend non-chartered, non-public schools. These schools, often smaller and faith-based, operate independently of state standards and are currently ineligible for Ohio's voucher system. The program, if passed, would allocate funds equal to the state's average base cost per student, giving parents more flexibility to cover tuition and other educational expenses. At its core, this debate boils down to one critical question: how do we balance giving parents choice while ensuring public schools remain adequately funded and supported? In a similar case that could transform the future of education, the United States Supreme Court is set to hear arguments this April about whether charter schools like St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual School should be classified as governor actors. The Oklahoma-based Catholic diocese behind St. Isidore received state approval to launch a charter school, but were blocked by the state Supreme Court. Now, federal justices will weigh in on this pivotal question: what exactly makes a charter school public? This debate goes beyond legal terminology. It's about redefining the foundations of education in America. Charter schools have long operated in a gray zone, blending public funding with private operation. St. Isidore's supporters argue that this partnership doesn't mean the school becomes a government entity. In a court brief, the Manhattan Institute noted that governments partner with private groups all the time to accomplish public goals, and that doesn't make them governmental arms. On the flip side, the National Alliance of Public Charter Schools emphasized that charter schools are, by their design, public institutions for constitutional purposes. They caution against blurring boundaries, stating that a private operator may run the school, but the institution itself is a public entity. The latest Amplify Dibbles findings highlight an alarming reality. Only 56% of K-2 students are ready to read. While there have been slight improvements in some grade levels, the stark reality remains that over a quarter of young learners are far behind. Microschools stand to present a promising alternative in this critical situation. With their focus on personalized and small group instruction, microschools can directly address the unique learning needs of each child, offering early, targeted interventions that larger traditional schools can struggle to provide consistently. This tailored approach aligns seamlessly with Amplify's recommendations for improving early literacy, making microschools a powerful tool in combating the current reading crisis. The United States is experiencing a significant rise in special education enrollment, with nearly 8 million students now eligible for services under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. This rapid growth, alongside declining overall student enrollment, has created a unique challenge for schools and for educators. The surge is most notable in categories like autism, which has seen a nearly 10% increase in just 1 year. With existing shortages in special education and delays in evaluations, traditional schools are struggling to keep up, leaving many families frustrated by unmet needs. Microschools offer an innovative and timely solution to this challenge, as many are particularly well suited to address the needs of students with disabilities. These schools have the agility to offer evidence-based strategies, provide faster evaluations, and offer the kind of individual attention that many IDEA-eligible students require. With their student-centered approach, microschools not only serve to ease the strain on traditional systems, but also deliver transformative educational experiences for students. The recent DOJ controversy surrounding access to sensitive student data has brought privacy issues to the forefront of education. As federal agencies face legal challenges for allegedly violating the Privacy Act, the case highlights the risk of centralized systems handing down massive amounts of personal information. Parents and educators alike are questioning how data access is granted and to whom. This week's Microschool Showcase goes out to the Ferguson School in Atlanta, Georgia. In a move that helps increase sustainability, Ferguson shares its building with 3 other microschools. Ferguson embraces the power of collaboration to create a dynamic learning environment. From speech therapists to books and specialized equipment, these schools pull their resources together to ensure that every student has the tools that they need to thrive. At the heart of Ferguson's mission is the portrait of a thinker, a student who questions, explores, and challenges the world around them. Here, critical thinking isn't just a skill, it's a mindset. If you know of a microschool that deserves a shout out, drop a comment and let us know about the work that they're doing. Thank you for tuning in to the Microschool Minute, your weekly review of microschooling news and events. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you'd like to support us, consider leaving a review. Until next week, happy microschooling.